Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Brew. We welcome you inside the Brew Sports Studios on a Tuesday morning, a chilly one here in the great state of Wisconsin. But that's not going to slow us down, of course, as we've got a full slate of sports action for you this morning. We welcome you inside our studios. I am Baxter Colburn. That's Jaymee Evers. Good morning, Jaymee. How are we doing today?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I expressed off air that I don't mind living in Wisconsin, but I hate physically being cold. I don't mind. Wisconsin's a beautiful state, but I hate when I can't feel my hands. That's where things start to go downhill for me.
But they've invented mittens for that.
And I wear mittens. Or more of a glove.
Okay.
Rather. I'm sorry. Not a mitten. I know mittens are like gloves you actually can see the fingers. I get it. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I need warm, fuzzy mittens. Maybe that's my problem. Are you a mitten gal or a glove gal?
I actually hate bundling up because I hate feeling constricted. But if I had to choose, I would choose mittens.
Mm-hmm. Really? So
I think they're cuter.
You'd rather freeze than stay warm because you hate being bundled up.
Kind of. I would rather run to my car without my jacket on than be in the car and have to unzipper it and throw it. Yeah. I'd rather just run. But I hate when you're so cold that your back tenses up. Oh, that's the worst feeling in the world.
Literally the worst feeling.
That's awful.
I'm so cold.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we will do our very best to keep things hot and heavy here on the show this morning to keep you warm because we know there's a lot of things to talk about. There's hashtag yes drama today, of course, which means, it's a Tuesday edition, which, of course, is probably one of the best things that we do here on the Morning Brew. We're going to be joined in our second segment to talk with Dan Lavender about the NHL playoffs coming up, some big injuries taking place as well, too, down the stretch, plus probably some end-of-the-season awards as well, too, and what those mean for certain players and their legacies as well, too, going forward. We do want to remind you all, of course, that to comment and share this video as well, too, with all of your family and friends. Good morning to everybody watching. Great to see you so far. And don't forget to follow us as well on social media, at BrewSportsNet on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. All right, Jaymee, what is brewing this morning? Sometimes there's some weird stuff that has to take place in the sports world, which is why we talk about it, of course, but there's some weird stuff taking place today.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all can agree that March is just one big drunk fest for everybody in the entire world. Milwaukee has 3 separate St. Patty's Day celebrations. There's the Shamrock Shuffle, which took the first Saturday of the month. Yep. Then there's Parade Day. And we have St. Patty's Day coming up this weekend. So I know we're probably not the only state that's getting ready to black out every weekend.
Well, we black out every weekend regardless, I feel like, for the state of Wisconsin, just because we can't even most of the time. But I do find it interesting, though, that some people, especially entertainment people, whether it's celebrities or professional athletes, let themselves publicly get so schwasty at times.
But you're surprised that they do?
Well, I feel like if you're in the public image all the time, I feel like you should know better at times. I'm not saying that you can't have fun. Of course, everybody should have fun, but you should be more smart about how you go about throwing yourself around. Yes.
Yeah. No, I can agree with you. People look up to them. I get hammered on a Tuesday and no one cares. I can.
You can.
Yeah.
Okay. I was
and no one's going to care. I care,
Jaymee.
Do you?
I care about your well-being.
I'm doing well.
Oh, good.
I'm just drunk and doing well. But I don't have anyone looking up to me. I don't have anyone.
Gotcha.
I'm not anyone's hero or.
Sure, I get that.
So I can agree with you, but I also think that we scrutinize them a little too much.
Well, what if it's a person that is in the limelight because of a very big opening rookie season in the NFL? Say hypothetically, a guy like Ezekiel Elliott just happens to be drunk in Dallas on top of let's just say an Irish bar or whatever, and decides to pull down a woman's shirt. Hypothetically, and it's all caught on video, of course.
Right.
Just things like throwing it out there, kind of a scenario.
I think if you just spitball that idea out there, it looks bad. But when a woman is pointing at her lady bits and then pointing at Ezekiel Elliott, he's going to show off her lady bits. And I don't think that he has the right to. They're her lady bits.
I don't feel like he necessarily had the right, and not necessarily had the right, but I don't feel like he was I wouldn't have taken that as an invitation if I was Ezekiel Elliott standing there and this girl is just woo, and checking and pointing to this guy. I'd be like, cool stuff.
Right, you wouldn't be like,
good for you. Yeah, and not once in my mind is my first thought to be like, okay, whoop, there it is, like kind of thing, like check them out sort of thing.
I agree. Like I said, they're hers to do what she wants with. They're not his. He doesn't get to expose them, especially because if you check out the video, like we had said earlier, he's about to kiss another girl.
Well, another girl was about to kiss him.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
this girl comes swooping out of nowhere, and she's just like, hey, Zeke. And then he's like, oh, what? Boom.
Nope.
Like, boom. Like, there it is.
And the girl looks super surprised, too. And I mean, anybody would. I would. So I don't think he should have done that. I don't think that we should yell at him for being hammered. And
well, I mean, being hammered, yeah. I mean, obviously there's people that are hammered all the time that we don't bat an eye at. But when you talk about the fine, upstanding citizen that Ezekiel Elliott is, he still hasn't fully been convicted for his domestic abuse charges as well, too. So he's already kind of in trouble, and this is just adding to the situation, I feel like, and it's not doing his public image any good. He can do whatever he wants on the field. That's great. He's a potential Hall of Fame running back down the future, but if he's getting into trouble off the field, that's going to cause a lot of problems for him.
Does this make him nasty?
I think he's a nasty fellow, yeah. Anytime you pull down... What? Why are you laughing at me?
I think he's a nasty feller.
I do. I truly do. I think that if you're pulling down a female's top, you have no respect for women and hardly any respect for yourself and your self-image.
I definitely don't think that he was in the right.
I agree. Because how much...
Be hammered all you want, but
yes,
leave her lady bits alone.
Exactly. Because I don't know what opinion you have of me, but if I suddenly was just like, whoop, on you, you'd be like, oh, hell no. Like, our friendship probably done, whatever sort of working relationship we have, super awkward. Like, it changes the dynamic of everything. And I get it. Everybody's drunk. Everyone's like, having a good time. But like, you cross a line there, which is not acceptable, I feel like.
I agree.
Especially in public. Whatever you do in the comfort of your own home, do what you got to do. But like, you're on top of a bar, people are clearly videoing you, and you're just like, oh, okay.
Right. And the most irresponsible person at parties, Rob Gronkowski, like, he doesn't even pull down shirts. He just gets hammered in shotguns, Bud Lights.
Yeah, whatever.
Like a real child.
Like a man, I guess, even though Bud Light's nasty. So Ezekiel Elliott getting into some trouble recently down in the great state of Texas. What else is brewing this morning?
We've got a Norwegian hockey game that went into 8 overtimes.
8 overtimes. I didn't think that was allowed. That seems like...
Well, how else do you stop a game?
Flip a coin.
Oh.
At some point, I feel like you just got to be like, all right, enough of this. Let's move on.
I guess. I don't understand why there's not shootouts in playoff hockey, because I think shootouts are exciting.
I agree. I'm all for shootouts.
And 200 and whatever minutes of...
217 minutes and 14 seconds of play.
Yeah, that's a very long time.
Previous record was back in 1936 between the Red Wings and the Montreal Maroons. That was 176 minutes long and 30 seconds. 176 minutes, 30 seconds long. So little different, obviously, but that just, like you said, I feel like at some point be like, all right, guys, you get 2 overtimes and then we'll go to a shootout. I get it. Like 2 overtimes. I feel like if you can't figure it out by that point, plus also those 3 periods. And someone's having problems.
Correct me if I am wrong.
Okay.
But is it still a 3-on-3 overtime?
That is a very good question. I don't see anything here in terms of... You're also asking someone that publicly bashes hockey, so I don't truly know about that. But which is a bit funny and interesting is that this was a quarterfinal game. So it's a best of 7 series. So these guys still have to play at least one more time. Because now Storhamar has a 3-2 series lead. And these guys are going to play again tonight. So in just a couple hours because of them being in Norway. So I can't even imagine playing for that long and then being like, oh, guys, we have another game.
Right, especially if it was for the last 8 overtimes, 3-on-3. Like, those guys had to have been exhausted. If it's not, I mean, they're still exhausted probably either way, especially since they shot 96-93.
Yeah.
Could you imagine
those goalies earning their keep?
Saving 92 pucks, and then all of a sudden you let
that one in. Yeah. 2-1 final.
Right, what a boring game.
Seriously, like I get like end-to-end action, and that's sometimes what people say about soccer too. They'll be like, "Oh my gosh, the team's out, shot 20 times on goal, but it was still 1-0." Well, sometimes the goalies are going to dominate games. Like I get that, but Yeah, little strange about that one personally. Howie on Facebook says, going back to Zeke, he said, it's a bad way to start an NFL career. Be respectful, and what's wrong with a shotgun now and again? I didn't say there was anything wrong with a shotgun, Howie. I'm all for a shotgun
we
here,
can
a shotgun there.
You can't pull a girl's top down.
Can't pull a girl's top down. We're establishing rules of what we can do here on Brew Sports as well too. I feel like we could successfully shotgun on air, but we can't take each other's shirts off. That just gets strange after a while. I mean, I can take my own shirt off, but nobody wants to probably see my shirt off. You can see my shirt. I don't know. I'm going to stop while I'm ahead because that gets me into trouble a lot of times. Anyway, and then one other final thing taking place in the sports world having to do with something that you love to criticize me for.
Oh, I do.
Go right ahead because I'm never going to hear the end of this, so go ahead.
If you were paying attention to last week, Baxter, who claims to like music, has never heard of Notorious B.I.G. ever, which boggles my mind. But the Brooklyn Nets made a tribute to him. They hung a banner for him with his name and number, Brooklyn Love, little quote that he says. Who was there? Lil' Kim was there.
You're looking at me like I know. I was totally got you for sure. Come on.
His family was there. P. Diddy was there.
P. Diddy, he's still a thing?
I guess.
Good for him.
Yeah.
He deserves a chance.
Do you know who that guy is?
I know who P. Diddy is.
Okay.
I'm not completely under a rock.
Well, so they hung a sign that says Notorious B.I.G. on it, the number 72, and a quote underneath that says, "Spread the love, it's the Brooklyn way."
Spread the love, it's the Brooklyn way. I can't think of Brooklyn as a city that I'm like, they really love each other there. Like, it's not usually the first city that I think of when I think of love.
Up and coming.
I suppose. Good for them.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. I don't know. All right, well, we should probably move on to our first guest here on the program. Is there anything else you wanted to chat with me about Biggie, or are you just
No, that's it.
letting me know that people care about Biggie even now?
Yeah, I cared
Good for
about him
them.
last week. I don't really care about Biggie. It was his birthday last week, and
Good
now
for
they made
you,
a tribute.
Biggs. Yeah.
No one's ever gonna hang a banner for me in their arena.
We might hang a banner for you here at the Brew Sports Network studios. Maybe we'll hang banners for all of our hosts and just be like, we'll have a big ceremony. We'll invite a bunch of famous rappers and call it a day.
I'm down.
All right, well, let's move along here to our first guest. Dan Lavender is a correspondent for us here on Brew Sports to talk about the NHL, and he joins us now to give us some insight on what is going into the hockey world. Good morning, Dan. How are we doing today, sir?
Top of the morning. How do you not know about Biggie Smalls, sir?
I know!
I was homeschooled, Dan. I'm going to plead the homeschool card, I guess. I was sheltered for a very long time, and I've gotten lectures from my wife since that point. She's played me music, be like, this is Biggie Smalls. I'm like, okay, maybe I've heard one song.
I feel like we're dealing with Captain America here, where he awakens, he has to relearn the world.
To an extent, I guess that's you're not horribly wrong about your thought about that one, honestly. Well, Dan, we're excited to have you on the show today to talk a little bit about the NHL and the playoffs, of course, right around the corner. I'm a big fan of the whole if the playoffs started today sort of thing, just because I'm always looking for the different scenarios, of course, and if this team were to win, how this would affect this sort of a thing. But I think a lot of people that know the hockey world are, of course, going to be talking about the Capitals. They're going to be talking about the Wild. But aside from those two clearly obvious teams, who else should people be talking about here as the playoffs inch closer and closer to us?
Well, I think the Columbus Blue Jackets this year have been a pretty good sleeper team. I honestly, from afar, you kind of wonder where they sort of put this all together. I've never been huge on John Tortorella as a coach, but they really have put it together this season, and that's a team that I kind of looked at a little bit, just in the sense that here in Milwaukee, our parent club is the Nashville Predators, and they made a trade a season ago where they get rid of who was their prospective top forward and Ryan Johansson for Seth Jones in a 1-for-1 trade, and they put it together this season. Pittsburgh, they're the defending Stanley Cup champions. They're off to another great season. They're still really dominant. Montreal's fallen off a cliff, and I still feel like the irritating thing for people like me is the Chicago Blackhawks around this time of the year find an extra gear, and they're usually perfect at the time when they need to be.
You said that Montreal's fallen off a cliff, although they seem to still be in first place in their division. How far is that cliff?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just that they started the season so hot, and I mean, it isn't every day that you fire your head coach when you are doing as well as they were, but they did. They had to get rid of Michelle Therrien and bring in Claude Julien, who was Boston Bruins head coach. And I think that might have been a little bit of a boost back to things. I mean, they've won, I think, their last 10, which I think comes because of Julien, but they're not a team that I really look at and feel that threatened by still. And really, if you're looking at teams out of the East, it's still going to be those higher-end teams of Washington, Pittsburgh, and frankly Columbus as well.
Talking with Dan Lavender here on the Morning Brew. Dan, a big injury taking place, of course, in the hockey world just a couple of days ago. Henrik Lundqvist going down. Is that going to affect his team's opportunity to be successful down the stretch now?
Well, I think Antti Ranta has done a pretty good job in relief in spurts this season. I will admit that whenever I've seen goalie activity out of New York get affected by injury, there is a small part of me that is happy for that, just in the sense that former Milwaukee Admiral goaltender Magnus Hellberg gets a shot, which is always fantastic to see because he's such a lovable person in our organization. But I would say that it's always going to hurt when Lundqvist goes down for that team, even if he's having a bit of a down year and maybe age is getting to him. He's still one of the top goalies in the entire league. And at the end of the day, this time of the year, you really start to lean on top goaltending and top defense to clamp down for playoff hockey. And they're still in a good position for the playoffs, I would say, but it does rattle, I think, the team when you lose a sure thing if you, say, slip up in the attacking zone and you have to rely on Antti Ranta over a guy like Lundqvist.
I mean, if you take a look, you see the Rangers are sitting at 90 points. They're 14 points ahead of Toronto for the wild card spot. Do you see them slipping further now with the injury, or do you think they'll be able to hang on?
I think that they'll be able to hang on. It's you're really looking at how the Atlantic would play in terms of the wild card, and I don't see them falling that far off where they would be in that much of a panic. But it would take something a little bit more drastic if more of the forwards start to fall. Like if you also have Rick Nash going out, that's when you might panic and worry about what happens as far as the playoffs go.
One of the things that we always like to ask people on the show, Dan, that are new to us for correspondence is their thoughts about the new franchise out in Las Vegas, the Golden Knights, or if they haven't even officially confirmed the name, I guess, because of the trademark and all that craziness. But what are your thoughts as someone that cares a lot and follows hockey, of course, and covers it, about a franchise of any professional sport in Las Vegas?
Well, the first thing I'll start off by saying for those who follow what I do is Justus Saros is exempt from the NHL expansion draft, so we're all good.
Good to know.
And the other thing that's I'm still really amused with them is I think the reason why their name thing is still a bit of an issue is I think there's some sort of a copyright thing going on there,
some
trademarking
small
issue
school somewhere,
where someone didn't do enough homework and they probably should have had that taken care of long in advance of making merchandise, and it's all a bit of an amusing thing, but I'm sure that'll get rattled up, and at the end of the day, everyone will just call them the Knights anyway.
True.
So I don't know why they had to go that way. It's been a fascinating topic for everyone this season, just because it's been such a long time where there's been an expansion team and the need for an expansion draft in the NHL. It made for probably one of the more boring NHL trade deadlines you'll ever have, just because it changes the way that the market dynamic works and how teams are padding their rosters and bringing in extra forwards, because at the end of the day, you're going to have to protect a certain amount of players and let other players go. And there's still so many variables, like as far as a team I follow extensively, the Nashville Predators, they could very easily be losing a Calle Jarnkrok, but I don't know if that means anything as far as what if they don't select him in the first place. There's so many weird things that go on with having Vegas in, and the real NHL trade deadline this year, frankly, wasn't the way that the trade deadline is. It's the real trade deadline activity ends up being after the expansion draft gets done, where Vegas actually will get to select their players, make their roster. The real trades are going to happen at this year's NHL draft right after it.
And I don't know if you know the answer to this or not yet, but have you heard any talks of an AHL team being built for them?
I'm sure that there's going to be some rumblings of it. I think that from what I remember hearing, it's more that they're going to be sharing a AHL affiliate as they kind of grow their base.
That makes sense.
And that helps too for as far as the American Hockey League, because that already would throw it in flux. And goodness knows I rolled out of bed and just had a bit of a rant about how the AHL works, with Californian teams already playing less games than the rest of the league, and causing things to be such an annoyance there as far as how we have to do. We all have to be mathletes as far as calculating points percentage down here. So I'm sure that that'll be something that ends up getting discussed. If there's any league that does moving and shuffling more than any out there in the world, it's the American Hockey League, with teams changing affiliates, teams shutting down, and relocations. It happens almost every single season.
If they share a farm team, do the players sign like a 3-way contract rather than a 2-way? Like, how does that work? Can some people play for Las Vegas and some people can only play for San Jose? Like, how does that work?
Oh no, it's still 2-way. It's just it's just down to knowing which player is affiliated where, and everyone getting along and being on the same team. And you see more of that, frankly, down in the league lower than the American Hockey League, which is the ECHL.
Sure.
For a long time, I don't think it's the case so much anymore, but the Milwaukee Admirals, who are affiliated to the Nashville Predators, their ECHL team was the Cincinnati and still is the Cincinnati Cyclones, but they shared players between the Nashville Predators organization and the Florida Panthers organization. So it's a bit of a scramble as far as who's going where, but it's frankly beneficial for everyone to fill out a team that way. So it sort of lessens the bite as far as filling out depth. And I'm sure the ECHL wouldn't mind having a team have 2 affiliates, because it means more higher end players who can filter down. But,
True.
It's not that hard to figure out how to structure a team if there are 2.
Well, Dan, we appreciate you taking the time to join us on the Morning Brew this morning. Where can people find your work and follow you on social media to keep up with the latest hockey insights?
Well, it's admiralsroundtable.com, and you can follow along on, we have a Facebook page, and then Twitter, it's @adsroundtable, and got a game tonight, Milwaukee Admirals on the road against the Rockford Ice Hogs. I'll be there, and hopefully this snow can stop.
There you go. Good stuff, Dan. We appreciate you taking the time today, sir.
Yep, thank you very much.
All right, there goes Dan Lavender on the Morning Brew here. Good insight from him. I mean, it's always funny for me to see when we have hockey correspondents on, because then your eyes just light up and you're just like, I've got this question and this question, this, and like, yeah, Jamie, go, get it, talk about it, go after it. I mean, everybody has a passion about certain different things. I mean, of course, when we have soccer correspondents on, I'm always just like, yeah, soccer. And you're just like,
what's a football?
Exactly. It's a football, not a football. Sort of a thing. I get that. But some good stuff there from Dan. And you've obviously worked with Dan as well, too, in your past as well, too. So appreciate Dan taking the time to join us on the program this morning. Anything that he said at all stick out to you about relocation or playoffs or any of that fun business at all?
No, I think everything he said was, pretty. It all made sense. Sure. Everyone is surprised with Minnesota. Everyone is surprised with Columbus. Columbus started out so hot this year. The Rangers are sitting okay. Mm-hmm. I did not know that you could share an affiliate.
I didn't realize that either.
That was something that I was unaware of. So
the more you know, Jamie.
The more you know. So yeah, no, I'm glad he came on, and I think we learned a little bit.
I think we did. All right, well, we need to head over to the NCAA now to talk about some of the interesting topics that are circulating right now. One that is going to take less time to talk about is the UConn women being named the #1 seed once again for the women's basketball tournament. They are in the process of trying to win their 5th consecutive national title as well, too. And my question to you, Jamie, is this good for women's basketball? Because UConn, of course, is a dominant powerhouse. They've already won over 100 some games in a row. Like, good for them. But is it actually helping grow the game of women's basketball? I don't know if it is.
Are you saying that because you expect UConn to win, no one's going to watch those games because they're going to win it? Like, is that what could be better for women's basketball than a team just destroying everybody else?
I think that's the problem, is that it's one consistent team. It's not where the NCAA, it's not like for the men's side where you're like, honestly, any one of these 68 teams could win it, where it's like, we know it's going to be UConn and somebody.
Okay.
So
I understand that.
Kind of a thing. And I mean, I get it. Obviously, women's basketball, we're talking about it, so clearly it's working. But if it's the same team over and over, back in the day when it was Baylor, or it was, now obviously UConn, of course, continues to be the big thing. But even if it was maybe 5 or 6 teams that we would consistently shuffle through instead of just 1 or 2, that's where I think it starts to be an issue. And the fact that they're in the process of almost winning their 5th consecutive national championship seems a bit excessive to me at the same time.
They can't help it that they're good.
I'm not saying that they should be bad on purpose. I feel like the rest of the country needs to catch up and take a lesson.
Yeah, maybe they should. People should try harder. No, I don't know if them being this good or them being any worse would make a difference if people would watch women's basketball or not.
Do you watch women's basketball at all?
No, but I don't really watch. I mean, I'll watch the Badgers, but other than that, I don't.
Sure.
I'll read up a little bit, but I don't follow basketball closely either.
Sure, that makes sense.
I also don't watch women's hockey, so.
Yeah, no, I mean, everybody obviously has different things that they watch, and I was just genuinely curious because, I mean, I don't watch women's basketball that much either, too. I mean, I'll occasionally, if UConn is on, I might tune in just to be like, oh, cool. Like, it's one of those rare occasions, like, even back, like, in the 90s when the Chicago Bulls are really good, you're like, okay, I know the Bulls are going to win the championship or whatever, but when you get a chance to watch history, sometimes you just try to tune in for at least a little bit to say, oh, I remember, or
right.
I watched, whatever sort of a thing, but the fact that we continue to see the same team consistently winning, I think it bothers me. I feel like there needs to be something done to either change the way that UConn recruits, because all the best players in the country, either they want to go to UConn, and when they don't, then they filter down, of course, to the rest. But UConn always has the very best players. Like, it's literally like an all-star team where they can go and pick anybody they want. They can walk into any high school in the country and say, all right, we want you. And they automatically get that player.
No.
There's nobody out there snubbing UConn to go play for Washington State or to go play for Florida.
So then is it their fault or is it the athletic department's fault?
What do you mean?
Like is it UConn's fault for being so good and picking the best women, or is it other people's fault for not being as good? Like, I don't think we should sit here and look at UConn and be like, hey, you're really good. No one wants to watch women's basketball. No one was watching women's basketball before this.
You're right.
So just keep winning, UConn. You do you.
Yeah, you do you.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a mixture of both, obviously. I feel like, it's so hard because, like I said, there's not a lot to compare it to. Tennessee used to be really good back when Pat Summitt was their coach, good Lord, how long ago it was when Pat Summitt was coaching. But aside from that, though, I mean, UConn has just really stormed the gates the last 6 years, consistently been like, we are going to be the best program in women's basketball probably ever, and we don't really care. And I almost want to ask the players, too, be like, do you like always winning? Of course, people like to win, but, they were in the middle of their record for a while where they won 100 straight games.
Right.
Like
they wake up, they get ready, and they're like, about to play North Carolina today.
Cool.
You're
it's like, at what point do you start losing a little bit of fire? Like, I feel like it's good to lose a game every once in a while.
Humble yourself.
I'm all for an undefeated season. Like, that's awesome. Very, very hard to do. But when you haven't lost a game in 3 years or 4 years, I'd be like, okay, guys, it's getting a bit much now at this point.
So this could be year 5 for them to win.
Yes.
And it's. I'd like to say, it's new for everyone every year. Like, you get a new freshman, you get a new this, you get a new that. And it's their undefeated season, so that's exciting for them. But now we're starting to cycle through. I think they can just keep winning.
You think that it doesn't affect the sports world or the women's basketball landscape?
I don't think people are going to watch it more if they don't. I think if someone comes out and beats them,
sure,
then yes, people will start watching because it's something to talk about and someone will see that Baylor or whoever is close to beating UConn. That's the only time I think it will change.
Sure.
Not if they just start losing.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that does make a lot of sense. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm always curious, of course, to see what happens, and anything, as most folks know, can take place in the NCAA tournament, of course. So we'll have to see, of course, now that the bracket is out. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts as well too. So make sure you comment below. Let us know if you think UConn. Just your general thoughts about the UConn women's program. It used to be the UConn men and women just dominating all of college basketball, and then I think there was a year that they both won it, and people were ecstatic. They're like, "This has never happened! Like, holy cow, this is amazing!" And obviously, UConn men have dropped, and the UConn women continue to just go up and up and up, of course. So we'll see. We'll have to see when that peak finally is for the UConn women, where they finally go, okay, now we're going to come back down for
now we'll let someone else.
Yeah, now we'll let somebody else win. We've won enough championships to cover all of our fingers now for the last decade. Like, let's move on, kind of a thing. One thing that you asked a question of me off the air is to do with our buddy Grayson Allen over at the University of Duke. And you posed the question is, will he continue, or will he hurt Duke's chances of winning a national title? Now, I wanted you to elaborate more on that, just because there's a lot of different ways that you can go with that question.
Okay. I think from my point of view, or my standpoint, they're obviously going to be watching him a lot closer than they have throughout the rest of the season, right? He's known for tripping and elbowing and causing all these fouls. So I think, because these games are so intense and full of so much energy, fouls are easier to commit. So
I get
him being someone that trips people often and someone that tries to sneak and get away with all this stuff, they're going to be watching him because they know what he does and what he's capable of, what BS he's going to pull. So, and we all know that can throw off a game.
It can, yeah. So you're making the argument that you think that Grayson Allen's antics are going to ultimately end up costing Duke a national championship?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Are you sure? I just want to make sure.
Yeah, no, yes. Yes,
okay.
Yes.
I mean, I would potentially agree with you in that, in the sense that if you have a loose cannon on your team like Grayson Allen, it's hard, because if you just look at Grayson Allen as a player, as a pure, like, just the shooter, the scoring part of it, he's incredibly talented. One of the best in the country. Potentially will be a later on draft pick in the NBA at some point as well too. Very, very bright, very talented player. But as soon as you add in the personality side of it to the player, that's where I think the chaos and the confusion starts. And as you mentioned, with the tripping and the flagrant fouls, and just being this magnet for negativity on the court, where people are like, well, I know if I look at Grayson wrong, he might foul me, and I might get him in trouble, and then Duke gets in trouble. So people, I think, are almost targeting Grayson Allen now, just so that way they can try to penalize Duke, because they've got this one loose cannon on their team.
Well, that's his own fault.
It is. You're absolutely right.
He should have just been a clean player to begin with.
I agree. I completely agree with you. Thankfully, Grayson Allen isn't the main focal point of what Duke's offense is, or defense does either. So they at least have some sort of a backup plan, just in case he decides to go rogue and start slashing people's ankles middle of the game. So at least there's that side of it. But still, if you can avoid players fouling out, or one of your best shooters, not getting into a tough, a little tussle, obviously that's what Coach K and company want to do if you're Duke.
Right.
So, do I think it hurts their chances? I do. Do I think they'll make the Final Four? I don't think so, because I have them losing to Marquette. But that's irrelevant. You can check my bracket later if you want to. You need to finish your bracket at some point here.
I do. I will today. I promise.
Mm-hmm. Heard that before.
I will.
Okay. No, I'm sure you will. Final thing. I always love playing these scenarios, because sports is not real life, because they just aren't. You've heard of the Ball family at UCLA?
Correct.
Lonzo, Ball. I forget.
LaMelo,
Carmelo,
LiAngelo,
Leonardo.
Da
sounds like the
Vinci,
sounds like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something at this point. Cowabunga. Anyway, their father, LaVar. I got that part right, correct?
You did.
LaVar is the dad. He wants a $1 billion shoe deal for his 3 sons. Not just for his oldest, that is going to be graduating from UCLA, or not even graduating, but leaving UCLA soon to go play in the NBA. He wants a $1 billion deal to cover all 3 of his kids with either Nike, Adidas, or Under Armour. Why? Why do you need that kind of money?
Because he's crazy. And it's not, he just drives me up a wall. And last week, now I'm going to bite my tongue, because last week I was like, he's just a super excited dad. Like,
yes. That's why I brought it up.
He just supports his kids. Like, he loves them. You do not need $1 billion.
Especially when all three of your kids are probably under the age of 21.
Right. You don't need $1 billion. They don't need $1 billion. And then he makes the quote, that's our number, $1 billion, straight out of the gate. You don't even have to give it to me all up front. Give us $100 million over the next 10 years. Shut up.
That's so sweet, though. He's like, look, guys, it's a lot of money. I get it. So, only,
I'll take payments.
$100 million over, 10, for, a year for 10 years. That's fine. Like, do what you got to do, but give me my $1 billion. You don't need that kind of money. Just to put it into perspective, LeBron James only signed a lifetime deal with Nike for $1 billion+ in 2015. That was after he'd been in the league for a long time and finally had won a couple of championships. Like, that's LeBron James.
Right.
These guys, we don't even know if they're going to do anything on an NBA court, let alone if UCLA is going to do anything in the tournament this year as well.
He's going to ruin everything for his children if he doesn't just sit down and shut up.
The hard part about this, though, is, and Phil is funny too. Philip on Facebook says that LeVar Ball is all about those shoes. Well, yeah, but. And I get it. He's doing his job in terms of, we're talking about his son, we're talking about him, we're talking about UCLA. I get that. He's doing a good job of marketing. If I wanted to be outlandish and crazy just to get people to talk about Brew Sports, then sure, maybe. If that was the type of person if I was streaking down the middle of wherever, if I ran into Miller Park naked with a Brew Sports logo on my chest, people would know all who Brew Sports is, but I would have humiliated myself in the process. I don't think so. I'm not going to do that. Maybe. No, I'm not going to do that. But it's the idea that he's trying to run his children's life, I think, is ultimately going to be what damns his kids.
He's a momager, but I don't know how to say it.
Is he a helicopter parent?
He's like a Kris Jenner of the sports world.
What is a momager?
A manager, that's your mom.
So he's a dadager then.
Yeah.
So why don't you just say dadager?
Because momager sounds better.
I guess so.
How
would you feel if this was your parents? If your dad was like, Jamie, I'm going to negotiate all of your contract deals. I'm going to hype you up.
I would tell him to shut up.
And that's the thing, too, is that the kids aren't saying anything. Like, in general, like, they're asked about it. They're like, okay, like, whatever. Like, to an extent, props to the kids because they're not letting this affect them. They're like, whatever, Dad, do what you do. I'm going to play ball, whatever kind of thing. But if this was your parent, trying to, negotiate you for whatever $1 billion fashion deal or shoe deal or whatever sort of a thing, like
I'd be first of all flattered that Kenny thinks I'm worth $1 billion.
Big Kenny, appreciate
Thanks, Dad.
you, love you.
I don't know. I just think he needs to just pipe it down just a little.
Pipe it, take it down a notch, big man.
And where did you get $1 billion from? Like, you pull that out of your butt? Who, like, $1 billion? Come on now.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing too. And he's just like, that's our number, like $1 billion. And I get it. It's for 3 people. I get that. It's not.
Yeah,
this isn't
like
just one.
A sophomore in high school.
But that's the thing. 2 of these guys aren't even in college yet.
Right. He could tear his ACL and never play again and lose a limb. Like,
exactly.
He doesn't know what's going to happen.
And maybe that's why he wants the money, though, because he maybe to an extent doesn't. Maybe he doesn't trust the fact that his kids are good enough to go all the way to the pros. Or maybe he does.
Steph Curry, come on now.
Of course, and they could beat them one-on-one, of course. I've heard that. Did you hear that LeVar said that he could take Michael Jordan in his heyday one-on-one?
No, I did not.
Yes, LeVar also came out. Once again, another outlandish, ludicrous thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's like you saying, Baxter, I could out-host you on the Morning Brew any day. I'd be like, okay, Jamie, good for you. No, like, honestly, I'm sure you probably could. But, like, I at least, know when somebody calls me out, I could be like, okay, like, I get it. I feel like I am small enough to back up and be like, okay, go right ahead, instead of being like, you won't, like, come at me. That's just stupid. Why? What part of calling out the greatest player of all time, once again, just for marketing, because like I said, people are talking
about it.
I get that. Brew says it's a payment plan. I totally get that. Then he also says that he and I should get matching Brew Sports tattoos. Brew, I don't have any tattoos.
It could be your first.
I don't know if I want a tattoo. I've talked about getting like a little tattoo, like on my ring finger. Like my wife and I had talked about getting like little like tattoos because my wife has a tattoo right underneath her rib cage, which is beautiful. And then Jeff says maybe I should get one on my back.
Ooh, like a shoulder piece,
like a wings.
Or I think you should get it like Thug Life, Brew Sports.
Like Brew Sports?
No, right over your belly button.
Over my belly button?
Yeah, like all the gangsters do.
I have a hairy belly button, though.
Shave it.
But then...
It's above your belly button.
Above my belly button. Okay, I suppose. But
haven't you seen, like, Thug Life tattoos? Like, Thug life. I don't know.
Oh, what was that?
No, that was it.
I missed what you said.
Go back and watch later.
Thug life. There's Jaymee Evers right there, the epitome of thug life. I'm not gonna get a tattoo. I'm sorry. Maybe if it's like one of those like washable, or maybe like a henna or something.
Henna.
Yeah, I'll get a little henna something. Like maybe I'll get like a little like Brew Sports business like right here or something. But I'm not gonna be like Brew Sports like kind of a thing. So anyway, LeVar Ball, he's off his rocker. I'm not a big fan. Shut your mouth. Hashtag way too much drama as well. But we're going to get to a yes drama later on. All right, Terrible Tuesday is a thing that we love to do because if Mondays aren't bad enough, Tuesdays supposedly are even worse. But sometimes people's Mondays are so bad they carry into their Tuesdays, especially when you decide to take on a real animal because YOLO. I don't know. Your Terrible Tuesday is really strange and surprising all at the same time.
Yeah, so I found that a bull rider got hit so hard. I mean, are matadors bull riders? Or
Matador is a like
flag guy. Okay, yeah.
Flag guy. It's a cape or something. Not a flag.
The Cape Shakers.
If the Chainsmokers never worked, the Cape Shakers is my next band's name.
And he obviously sucks at his job because he got hit so hard by a bull that his glass eye popped out of his eye as he was getting knocked out by a bull. Which, why were his eyes? Do you think his eyes were open and it just plopped out?
It had to have been.
But I feel like if you get hit by something, you like scrunch up.
But I mean, if you're like surprised, be like, whoa, like kind
Maybe.
of thing.
How do they actually stay in your eye, though?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Because it has to
my
be,
eyes are both 100% real.
Because it has to be small enough to get in your socket, right?
Correct.
But then big enough to not fall out.
This is what the article at least says here from the Daily Mail. The Matador, dubbed the Pirate, of course, makes sense. Juan Jose Padilla has worn an eye patch and a glass eye since he first had his face gored by a bull back in 2011.
Hasn't learned his lesson.
Should have been lesson number 1.
Yeah.
Bro, you got your eye. You lost an eye. So why get back in, kind of a thing. Anyway, but I digress.
And then it happened again.
And then, yes, he lost his first eye in 2011. Then it decided to go on from there, basically, and he lost another eye. So this is the first eye that he's lost.
Maybe they're cheap.
But still, at one point, when you lose your real eye, if I lost my right arm canoeing, I'm probably not going to get another fake bionic arm to go canoeing again. I'd be like, to hell with canoeing. It's dangerous.
But if you get in one car accident, like you're not done driving for the rest of your life.
It depends.
Maybe he had really
anything.
poor vision in that eye, anyways. So he was just like, screw it.
Maybe a better comparison would be like rock climbing or something more dangerous. Like driving in a car is a necessity, while rock climbing is more of an adventure. Or like UFC. You know, like if I got hit so hard I lost an eye fighting in a UFC fight, I'd be like, yeah, I'm done. Like I don't have an eye anymore. I can't see straight. Like what do you do? Spitballing here. Anyway.
I mean, yeah, maybe that's why he got hit again, because he's...
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe, yeah. Because, if you close one eye and you close the other, like...
Yeah, his peripherals are off.
Things are switching. So he's probably like, oh, the bull's here. And then he's like, just kidding, the bull's here. And it's like, and he was gone.
That could be it.
I bet you that's what it was. I can't. I can neither confirm nor deny that.
I don't know. He's probably having a terrible Tuesday. But he actually maybe isn't, because he doesn't even know that it's gone,
Yeah, how can you...
what do you think is behind the glass eye? Like, is it just your brain?
No, I'm sure they probably sewed it shut.
Oh.
I don't know. I can't.
Does anybody know anybody with a glass eye that they can come on Brew
seriously,
Sports?
comment below, please. We'd love to interview them, video only.
Because I'm definitely
take
interested.
your eye out. We want to look at it. Phil says he was losing that eyes one way or another from a bull hit. Yeah, it's true. He was. Dan says, I think we should move on. Well played, Dan.
Funny.
Brew also says it happened so fast if you blinked you'd missed it. You guys are just full of the puns this morning, aren't you? Anybody else? But seriously, though, glass eyes. But then the real question is the glass eye half full or half empty? No? I guess that doesn't work. I don't think that works in that situation. It's the eye socket half full or half empty, I guess maybe would be the better way. I tried. I reached hard for that one, and I fell.
Failed.
I fell.
Dad jokes.
Real bad.
Do you have a terrible Tuesday?
My terrible Tuesday, I feel like... My terrible Tuesday actually centers around the Milwaukee Bucks. It's not really even that terrible, but they won 6 games in a row, and then they decided to lose last night to the Memphis Grizzlies. But they're still in the playoffs.
I don't think they decided to lose.
They decided. They're like, nah, guys.
Well, good.
Not having it. But
bye, Bucks.
Yeah, I feel like if you're also another team having a terrible Tuesday, It centers around so that's just a really bad example. That's more of like a Homer side of me. But Terrible Tuesday could be something from the UFC, or MMA rather, because I don't know if you heard about this, but there's two gentlemen that somehow, never been done before, rare, a double knockout.
They punched each other.
They punched each other.
And they both knocked out.
Yes.
But someone still won, which is mind-boggling.
Yes.
How do you have a winner?
Like I said, I mean, I've seen the video on this, and I think because they punched each other, and then one guy got up a little bit quicker, I think maybe they're like, oh, he's the less worse off of the two.
But then when you're in a normal fight where one person knocks someone out, right? So sometimes they'll call a knockout, even though you're not actually knocked out. You're just not defending yourself properly.
Correct.
But you can get back up like this guy did and probably continue fighting. But they already called the fight off. I don't think this is fair. I think this should have been a tie. And I think they should have rematched.
Interesting. No, I think that's not a terrible idea, honestly. But this hasn't happened since 2009, supposedly. But the article here from Bleacher Report talks about how unicorns do exist, and they say that even though they are very rare, something like a double knockout as well does exist and does happen occasionally. But you don't ever know when the next magical one is going to appear, basically. So, Axel and Alan that were fighting, both men fell to the floor, stunned when they punched each other. Then Vasquez, though, was awarded the victory because he was able to get back up on his feet first. So
I don't think that's fair.
How is it not fair? The other guy was like on the ground, like, help me, I can't get up.
Right, but he probably still wouldn't have been okay to finish the fight.
Probably not, but I think.
But going to my last point, you and I get in a fight.
Sure.
You can't defend yourself. They call it a knockout or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get back up and fight with me again. The fight is over. I have won. This gentleman, they knocked each other out. One just got up faster. Like it should have been called
that makes
a
sense
draw
to me.
Or a tie or whatever you call it, and then move on.
I feel like that makes sense to me more though, because like if you and I are fighting and we punch each other and you get up and I'm still on the ground because I'm like, what just happened? Jaymee just socked me in the face, and you get up and you're just a little daisy, but you're like, oh, you might not be able to fight again, but you obviously are in better shape than I am.
But what about the knockouts that aren't actual knockouts? You're just not defending yourself. You haven't been knocked out, so you could get back up.
I think it's a safety issue is what it comes down to.
But you're still not knocked out. Like, you could still get back up and fight the fight and finish the fight. Dumb. You heard it here.
You're dumb.
You're dumb. Shamrock FC, whatever.
The hell is Shamrock FC?
I don't know.
Think of something smarter. All right, so final thing here on the program today, a quick reminder for all of you as well, too, to go and join our Brew Sports Bracket Challenge as well. It's actually here in the comment section below. It's the pinned comment on the top of the video. Go sign up for free today. First place wins $100. Second place wins a date with Jaymee. Third place, I cook them dinner. No, that's not actually true. You win a T-shirt for second and third place, but $100 is the actual first prize. So it's an exciting time. Sign up. We've had already over 30-some people sign up. It's amazing. Jaymee still has to sign up so she can go on a date with herself.
I hope I get second place.
She's going to try to skew her. She's going to throw the match just so she can go on a date with herself and sit on a couch with Harold. And
treat myself real
make
nice.
Tacos. You still need your tacos. Maybe I want to go a second place so you can make me tacos finally.
Okay.
I'm all for the taco life.
All right.
We'll
double date.
Hashtag Team Taco.
You and Liz and me and Beckham.
Oh, there you go. So you can bring Harold if you want to.
He's not that great.
Oh.
I mean, he's great. He's an awful date.
Doesn't talk much.
No.
Just whines a lot. I don't know. A couple of comments here about the knockout. Brew says it has to do about how the fight went before the knockout. I think
that's not true.
Phil thinks it should have been a tie. Randall says probably goes by points after that, and Philip says hashtag Jaymee's the truth. Brew says same as if there was no knockout winner based on the overall fight. Yeah, there is. It
said that the guy won because he got up on his feet first.
That's a weird. Well, there's a point system. I mean.
But they would have said that it was scored,
We'll have to get some sort of a UFC expert on to hash this out because I don't understand, honestly, how this works.
Dan Lavender, are you still watching? I know you like UFC.
Dan, get back with us.
Weigh in.
Give us the deets. All right, final segment of the show is some good old-fashioned hashtag yes drama, Jaymee. I know you live for the drama. You do.
I do.
As dramatic as the Bachelor final last night.
I was sitting at the end of my couch hoping that he would propose so much. No.
And he did. Not. For those that care, Nick finally found love after 4 times with Vanessa. And now he's going to be on Dancing with the Stars, and we still can't get rid of Nick.
He's so romantic.
I know. Maybe he'll end up falling in love with his dance partner on Dancing with the Stars and propose to her as well, too, and cause a double conflict. Maybe. ABC's like, yes, do it. We want more ratings. That would be wonderful.
Oh, whatever.
All right, my hashtag yes drama moment is Andre Iguodala, who is being fined $10,000 by the NBA for racially intensive remarks after Friday night's loss to the Timberwolves. According to Iguodala, he says, "Nope, no clue. I do what masters say." That's the comment that got people all fired up. So, playing the racist card, playing the slave card, because I was reading that quote a couple times, and I'm like, I don't understand how this is a bad thing. But Iguodala was asked if he knew that he, along with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, would be sitting on Saturday night's game against the Spurs. That was a big hoopla in the NBA, where 4 of the best players, arguably in the NBA, all sat against arguably the next best team in the NBA. And Iguodala said, "Nope, I had no clue." He replied, "I do what masters say," and he's implying the fact that Steve Kerr, who is a white coach, as the master, pulling from the slave roots, went that route. Took it a little far.
Yeah. Ouch.
Yeah. And, after the league announced the fine, Iguodala expressed regret for his comments, of course, because that's what you're supposed to do. And he says, "I have a great relationship with Steve Kerr, and he knows that." Well, I don't know if he knows that.
Right.
Even if he does try to bill it off of what seemed more like a inside joke, the media, of course, hence why we're talking about it, probably had a different idea about that. You don't, as a African-American man, you don't make slavery jokes.
Correct.
Or if you are a white person, you do not make slavery jokes. Like, it's just you just don't do that anymore. This isn't, 19 earlies or 18s or whatever. It's like back when slavery was still a thing, I think that's a big hashtag yes drama moment, because I just
agree.
Don't think you can do that personally.
Clearly you can't get fined $10,000.
Yeah.
And now it probably looks bad because everyone is going to judge a little more. Right?
Yeah, I'm going to start judging a little bit more, and I think that kind of puts another little badge of hatred on the NBA for the Golden State Warriors, because people already are starting to find reasons to hate the Warriors, and now you look to hate the Warriors even more because it's like, well, they have slavery. Their players view their playing time as slavery because of how Steve Kerr supposedly runs his team, even if it was just a joke, but... sure, the jokes are there. The insinuated jokes are there. Anytime you have a white boss and black employees, sure, you could make the slavery. Like, no, you don't do that.
Right, you just don't.
You don't, that's just
Especially not in the
right.
public's eye.
Exactly.
You can't pull down a girl's top. You can't make
what's worse, pulling a girl's top down or making a slavery joke?
I don't know.
I don't know. Hopefully neither. Don't do either. We do not endorse either of those things on Brew Sports.
We don't.
Alicia says, "Hi, Jamie." Whoever.
Hi, Alicia.
Alicia Pepito.
I have no idea how to say her last name.
Aren't you friends with her?
Yeah, she works with us.
Oh, but you have no idea how to say her last name.
No.
Okay, that's weird. I feel like you should know how to pronounce the last name of coworkers. How long have you worked with Alicia?
This year.
So I feel like it should have come up.
But I don't ever say her last name.
What do you just call her Alicia? Like, what up?
Yeah.
What up, A-Town?
Mm-hmm.
Allie? Shisha?
Alicia.
Aishi? I don't know. Now I'm just throwing her. Anyway, call her AP. Be like,
AP.
What up, AP?
I could.
There you go.
You can't make nicknames for people you don't know, Baxter.
Why not? That's what I make a living off doing, basically. Jack says, yep, it was Vasquez who was deemed the winner because he was the first to get up and clear the cobweb. So there's your official, not so official thing.
Doesn't make it fair.
Doesn't make it
Anyways.
fair. What's your yes drama moment? Hit me up. Drama me up.
I'm a little confused right now with the World Cup of Baseball. Right?
World Baseball Classic.
World Baseball Classic.
Maybe that's why you're confused, is because you've been watching the wrong thing.
The letters were in my brain, and I just made it up as I went.
World Classic Baseball.
Okay, so Mexico finds itself in the center of a tiebreaker after beating Venezuela 11-9. But I'm confused.
But they won.
Right. So, from my understanding, I'm extremely, extremely confused by this. That even though they've won the last game, their total runs are less than Venezuela's. So that makes
Is this
them
a
lose?
standings sort of a thing? Like was this a tiebreaker to get to the next round?
Correct.
So my understanding, if I'm guessing from what you're saying, even though Mexico won, they didn't have enough run differential to advance to the next round.
Correct.
Hence why they supposedly ended up losing, even though they ended up winning.
So does Mexico's win created a three-way tie between Italy, Mexico, and Venezuela
Sure.
in Group D. Only 2 teams can advance.
Yes.
So it says, here's a tiebreaker in question. Step 1. The tied teams shall be ranked in the standings for that round according to the fewest runs allowed divided by the number of innings.
Makes sense?
Why can't you just... If you won, you win.
Well, because
Because they tied, I know. It just doesn't make
if you get
sense.
6 points, I get 6 points, and our producer gets 6 points, and only 2 of us can win, we need to figure out a way to break that tie. All 3 of us can't
Rock,
go.
paper, scissors.
Welcome to the real world, Jamie, where not everything's fair and nobody knows what the hell's going on.
Rock, paper, scissors. I don't know. I just feel bad. This happened to them before. I just feel bad.
What are you having drama about then? The fact that people
The fact that they have to go through this again.
you're so caring and so sweet. You're like, guys.
I just want them to,
I get that. No, that's a sweet thing of you to do. I appreciate that. But that's how sports work, Jamie. Somebody has to lose.
I
We must
know.
crush somebody.
And it's not the whole ooh, everyone needs a participation award, because I don't think that. But I just feel bad for them, and they're probably sad.
Well, Viva Mexico. But
They're-
hey, Team
they're
Italy.
angry.
Nobody gave us a chance. Here we go, baby. Woo! Sorry. I had to get my little Team Italy bit out there real quick. No? No one picked Team Italy? I didn't either.
Oh, boy.
All right, Jamie, as we wrap things up, of course, special thanks to all of our wonderful people that have been commenting this morning. Alicia, however you say your last name, thanks so much. Phil, Brew, the comments galore, Jeff, a lot of people. A lot of people. It's like a little except a lot, basically. You ever heard of that? It's like when people are like, I love you a lot. It's like a little except a lot.
Mm-mm.
No? I guess
I've
probably.
never heard that before
People-
in my entire life.
Nobody ever told you they love you, Jamie.
No. I also don't watch The Bachelor, so I think you know.
No, that has nothing to do with The Bachelor.
No, it has
it's
to
a
do with
cute little
it is
penguin
not-
picture. Find it. Okay. I will find
You're
it. and
digging yourself.
Whatever. I have many sides of myself, okay? I do.
Thanks for watching. We love you a lot.
See, it works. It's like a little except a lot. Sign up for our bracket challenge in the comment section below. It's the pinned comment. Jamie will hopefully fill out her bracket sometime before things tip off, the next couple hours. If not, you do get to go on a date with Jamie. We'll make sure it happens. Don't forget to subscribe to our show on iTunes as well. It's the podcast. Go download it so you can listen to us on the daily if you can't watch us, although we prefer if you watch, of course, because you get to see our beautiful faces on a daily on a daily basis. Again, I didn't want a daily basis again, but I did it anyway. Anyway, I'm losing my mind. She's Jamie. I'm Baxter. Thanks so much for watching The Morning Brew. We'll be back here again with you tomorrow on a Wednesday edition. Coming up next on Brew Sports is Pick 6 with Tanner Burke. And filling in for him today is James Stewart for James Ramadan. That's what it is. English. It's a great thing. I need coffee. She's Jamie. I'm Baxter. Thanks for watching The Morning Brew, guys. We'll see you guys later on today.